Can a fall in your Christian walk actually make you stronger? I'm actually going to be sharing my own story in this video. My name is Grandeur. If you're seeing my video for the very first time, I make videos like this on the first of every month. For now, I also make shorts about Christianity. You can check it on my page. You can check it on my YouTube, on my Instagram, on my TikTok. Thank you very much. Like I said earlier, can a fall actually strengthen your Christian walk? And I'm actually going to tell you my story. I haven't really shared this with many people, but I think it's the first time I'm going to be seeing it online. Only my friends are aware of this part of my life. So growing up in a Christian home, I used to be very vibrant. I used to be very energetic when it comes to the things of God. Not to brag, but I think I'm even going to say more energetic than my siblings. So whenever there was just something about God, about church, about I'm just always present. Granted, is just really always present. I not because of my parents, my parents didn't really encourage me. I just had that natural zeal for the things of God. So I actually grew up like that. But I got to a point in my life where I really felt to sin. I really, really felt to sin. And it just became difficult to do those things. Since I normally do in the house of God, I always, I ran from them, I abstained from them because of guilt and because of this self-disqualification. I just felt like very unworthy to do things like that, in the church. So it was happening like that for a while until I'm really saying it in a very fast way, but it wasn't like that. So after falling to sin and all that, I a righteous man for 7 times to stand again. I picked myself up. I removed those things from my life and all that. But this is what I realized about myself. I noticed that before that fall, it was a very tremendous fall. It affected me and all that. Before that fall, I used to trust God, but I used to live this Christian life with some level of triviality and levity. Yeah. I don't know which other simple term to use. Without caution, without dedication. I used to live my Christian life with levity. But after the fall, after I got back with God, it was like there's just so much caution now. If I'm to explain it in a way, I'm going to say before I fell to sin, my Christian life, my hope, my trust, my faith in God, it was maybe 50 over 100. But after the sin, it just rose to an 80 or a 90. I just became really stronger and really firm. That it felt like back then the Christianity I was doing, I was just really standing on mud. But I wasn't worrying as long as I didn't fall. I was comfortable as long as I didn't fall. But after falling now, I'm just standing on the solid rock. There's just more caution now. There's just things that are not of God that I really come in contact with. Sometimes I don't really pay attention to it. I'm just really very careless. Certain actions that people do around me back then. I just look at them like they're not really that serious. It's harmless and stuff like that. But now there's just really so much caution that I'm just very strict with the kind of things that get close to me. Especially when it comes to sin. Sin doesn't really just sin starts slow. So that's one of the things I noticed about my work with God is there's a part of me that really regrets everything that happened, with the falling to sin and all that. But there's a part of me that is grateful to God that it happened, because if it didn't happen, I won't be this strong in the things of God. I won't understand things of God to this level. I would have been living that kind of Christian, complacent, 50-50 life. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say. So beginning to look like it's as if it's a bad thing that I felt to sin, but at the same time it's a good thing. I don't know if you're following me, because of my experience, I'm just really very cautious now. Things that might look harmless, that my friends might say or do around me, I'm just really strict now. Take that thing far away from me. Because I've understood now from my bad experience that sin always look harmless at the beginning. People that are taking things to make them high, people that are fornicating, at the beginning they always tell themselves, I can stop if I want to. Until it's time to stop. Now it's difficult for them to stop. They are praying to God, help me. That's sin always look harmless at the beginning. And this is the major trick of the enemy. He's gonna make it look like what bad could possibly happen, what harm could happen. And if you fall for that, if you entertain it, then he's gonna have his way in your mind, because our mind is like a field, it's like a garden, and our eyes and our ears are ways in which seeds are planted in that garden. Seeds can be planted in that guiding by ourselves, by people around us, by the actions of people around us. You understand? What you see, what you hear is very important. So we need to be very cautious. And it took me a bad experience to really learn this. And I learned the hard way. I really learned the hard way. So now I'm just really, really cautious, because sin really looks harmless at the beginning. It's really, really harmless looking at your housewife as she's beating her, right? It's very harmless. What could possibly go wrong? After all, it's just look. I look. It's not my fault that she's bathing where I can. It looks really harmless, right? But that was the origin of the whole thing. It always looked very harmless. The Bible says, if you look at a woman lustfully and in your heart you think about doing sexual things, sexual immoralities with her, in the sight of God, you've done it already. By that analogy, how many of us have committed fornications and adultery? How many of us? There are so many. So the devil understands these things. He's not going to force a girl. The devil is not going to bring you and bring the girl and tights of you together. No, he's going to make you see something. He's going to make you see something. And that's what he did to David. He made David see something. Sin always look harmless at the beginning. I'm sure he was asking himself, what could possibly go wrong looking at Uriah's wife as she's beating? But how did the story end? How did it end? If he had seen her move his eyes quickly, do you think he even called his servant to ask, who is this woman? So many people name their children David in this generation, but if you really read the later stories of David before his death, David was a very depressed man. He had a lot of sadness he was dealing with, and that's understandable because his punishment for that act, it was really tough. It was really tough. His family was nothing to write home about. Sorry to say. Why? Because of few minutes of pleasure. Because of few minutes of pleasure. Sin always looked very harmless at the beginning. And this is something even I myself, I usually fall into before I became very solid in the things of God. I used to feel like, And so many people feel that way too. It's just my first time going to the club. What could possibly go wrong? I'm not a small child. Before you know, you are dancing with a stripper. Before you know, you are taking alcohol. Before you know, you have committed fornication. Before you know, you don't want unwanted pregnancy, you've committed abortion. That's just how sin looks. At the beginning, it's always like, what could possibly go wrong? Until you're in trouble and you ask yourself, how did I get here? How did I find myself here? That's how the devil operates. It's not gonna. It is better to. The devil is like a friend enemy. You think he's your friend, but he's not. It is better to fight an enemy you know than an enemy you don't know and you think is your friend. That's the way the devil operates. This very thing happened to me too. I kept on asking myself, how did I get here? How did I? What? Me? Sin always look harmless at the beginning. Don't entertain it. Don't. That's why you see many. You come on social media, you see a lot of degenerating songs, a lot of degenerating content. You see girls naked in themselves. It's all the plots of the devil. It's all the plan of the devil, because the devil understands that if you can see if you can pollute your mind, he can control you. There was a time in my life I used to listen to some kind of songs. I wasn't really the type to listen to songs that has to do with sex and women body, songs that objectify women. I don't really listen to things like that. But I used to listen to a lot of sad songs. I used to listen to a lot of heartbreaking songs. I'm actually just going to be very honest. Polo G. For people that listen to rap, sad rap music, you people know Polo G. His own level of rap music is tier 3. Sadness, depression, pro max. That's the kind of sad. I used to listen to things like that until the Holy Spirit asked me one day, if you keep planting these things in your mind, why are you complaining that you are struggling with depression, that you are struggling with sadness? It is these seeds you are planting in your heart that is germinating, that is bearing fruit. Stop planting these seeds in your heart. That was the day I stopped listening to it. But before then, as my younger sister can testify, I can rap all of those sad, suicidal songs. Our mind is a garden. Be careful what you let into it with your eyes, with your ears. You see a girl posting test traps and you want to see more. You should run from it. Flee. Sexual immorality is the only sin in the Bible that the Bible said you should run from. Don't try to fight. Flee. Because seeing and looking alone can put you. Looking alone can make you lose that battle. Looking alone, entertaining it alone can make you lose. Flee from it. Be careful what your eyes see. Be careful what your ears hear. Because those are passages, those are intermediaries, those are mediums in which things get into our mind. Sin always looks harmless at the beginning. It always looks like what could possibly go wrong until everything has gone wrong. Let's be very careful, especially for young guys. If you keep looking at test traps, you keep looking at naked girls online, then you are complaining to God that God should help you fight masturbation and pornography. You are complaining to God that God should stop you from committing fornication. It's those seeds that you are letting inside your mind. You can't keep entertaining all those things and be complaining. You can't plant mango and be expecting orange. No. It doesn't work that way. My mom used to always tell me, a meat that you know you will not eat, don't use your mouth to share it for two people. Meat that you know you will not eat, don't use your mouth to share it for people. Those that want to eat the meat should share it by themselves. They should not involve you. Always be cautious. Always be cautious about the things you see, the things you listen to, because those are the ways in which the devil really gets to our mind, gets to our hearts. I don't know if we really learned anything from this video. Thank you very much for watching.